Some athletes are stars. Shohei Ohtani feels more like a national event. And that is a huge reason why the World Baseball Classic hits a bit differently in Japan. Because when Japan watches Ohtani play, it's not just watching a great baseball player, it's watching the face of modern Japanese baseball. The bridge between Japan's domestic game and Major League Baseball. And a player who can make an international tournament feel a bit more personal. That all peaked in the 2023 WBC final. It was Japan versus Team USA. Bottom of the ninth, Shohei Ohtani on the mound, and Mike Trout at the plate. Teammate versus teammate for the title. And guess what? Ohtani struck him out. Japan wins 3-2, tournament's over, instant classic. It was one of those sports moments that felt almost too perfect to be real. But the reason it landed so hard was not just the drama of that final at-bat. It was everything Ohtani already meant before the game even started. Because in Japan, Ohtani is not followed like a normal star. He's tracked daily. His games become headlines. His home runs become national conversation. His milestones do not stay inside baseball media. They spill into the general news, television, and public life. That changes the feel of the entire tournament in Japan. In the United States, fans usually follow teams first, then players. With Ohtani, a lot of Japanese fans follow the player first. He is the draw. He is the storyline. He is the reason that a random Major League Baseball game on an ordinary day in the middle of summer can suddenly feel important. So when the World Baseball Classic starts and he puts on that uniform that says Japan across the chest, the emotion changes immediately for the country. This is not just Japan has a strong roster. It becomes Japan's biggest baseball figure is representing the country directly. That is much stronger of an emotional pull. And it helps explain why the WBC can feel so much bigger in Japan than it traditionally has in America. In the US, the 2023 final was a breakthrough. It drew record American viewership for the event. In Japan, it felt closer to a national moment. Public watch parties filled up, offices reportedly adjusted to around the game, and people were not treating it like a side tournament, they were treating it like required viewing. That difference is important because it shows that the WBC becomes when the audience is fully and emotionally invested. And Ohtani is right in the center of all of that. Not just because he's great, can pitch, and can hit, but it's because he represents a very specific kind of greatness. He dominates globally, but still feels rooted in Japan. The combination is rare. Usually, when athletes become international superstars, they start to feel detached from home. They get a little more corporate, more generic, and more like global brands than national figures. Ohtani has gone the other direction. The bigger he gets in MLB, the more closely Japan seems to follow him. It's a big reason that the WBC does so well there. In MLB, Ohtani plays for a franchise, and in the World Baseball Classic, he becomes something much simpler. He becomes Japan's player. And that shift makes the tournament feel bigger than a normal baseball event. Because now fans are not just watching stats, they're watching identity, pride, and representation. And that's where the World Baseball Classic is starting to become very powerful. It takes years of attention, admiration, and emotional investment and concentrates it all into a single tournament. And in Japan, that effect is amplified because the baseball culture is already so deep. It's a country that has cared about baseball seriously for generations. It has a strong domestic league, it has a strong development system, and it has incredibly strong national pride in the sport. Ohtani didn't create any of that. He gave it a modern global symbol. He made it easier for Japan's baseball culture to connect to the biggest international stage. And in 2023, the World Baseball Classic was a perfect example of that. Because the final out was not just a championship game, it was a collision of baseball worlds. Japan's most famous player, America's most famous player, major league teammates, global audience, title on the line. That is not just good sports theater. It's the exact kind of moment that an international tournament needs in order to start gaining popularity. You do not need to know tournament formats or roster rules to get that scene. Ohtani, Trout, ninth inning, winner takes all. It's clean, it's memorable, and it's very easy to sell to the world. And that's why Ohtani felt so important to the WBC. He doesn't just make Japan stronger on the field, he raises the scale of attention around the entire event. He pulls the Japanese fans, he pulls in MLB fans, he gives media an obvious focal point, and he turns the tournament into something bigger than a collection of games. That's hard to manufacture. Most events spend years trying to create meaning, and the WBC got a huge boost because someone like Ohtani arrived with meaning already attached to him. And when that meaning gets tied to a national team, the tournament instantly feels heavier. becomes more emotional and more memorable and more global as a result. And that's what worked so well in 2023. Not just because the baseball was good, because the tournament had a central figure big enough to pull multiple worlds together at once. Ohtani was the star of the event. He was the connector between Japan and MLB, between national pride and global viewership, between a baseball tournament and a true international sports moment. And once a tournament proves it can create moments like that, expectations change. Now the question is bigger. If the World Baseball Classic already has the stars in the audience and moments that can break through worldwide, what does it need next to become even larger the next time they meet? Thanks again for tuning in to this episode of the Weekly Lens, and we'll catch you next time.